Hey guys, and welcome to episode 54, take 2, of One Team, One Dream, Into the Woods. My name is James, and on today's episode, I'm going to try and recreate episode 54 of this series, due to the fact that about a week ago, I recorded this episode the first time round, and all seemed to be going well, and then I got to editing it, and I found this. Utter silence. Yep. OBS had not recorded a single piece of audio across the 40 minutes of footage that I had recorded for the playoff final. Being the fact it was a recording issue rather than a export issue, this meant that I couldn't retrieve the audio. There was no audio. It had never been recorded. So I had no choice but to try and come up with a creative alternative to this episode. I was so annoyed. If it had been a normal episode, I'd have just abandoned it and moved on to the next one. But being the fact this was the playoff final, I had no choice but to try and, at the very least, recapture some of what I had done. So on this episode today, I'm going to play the footage in the background that I managed to record, and I will commentate over the top, at the very least, to kind of give you a rundown of what happened in the episode as we faced Charlton, who we had lost to during the season and have yet to record a win against. So this was the team that faced Charlton in that playoff final. It's about as close to a full-strength side as we were going to get. It's Huddart in goal, a back four of Devine, Tricker, Kirk and Charles, Fiorini and Osho in central midfield, Fagan and Alabiosu are the wide men, with Yeats and Taylor Crossdale up front. Two men who, between them, have, I swear, put at least, I think, 60 goals between the two of them. With Fagan on top of that as well, it's absolutely insane amount of goals that we have scored between those who scored as a team this season. And I was going into this game hoping to take us a step further to what has been an incredible season anyway. Regardless of what happens in this game, we were never expected to be anywhere near the playoffs. We're expected to be nowhere near the top half of the table. And so because of that, I took the pressure off the boys by saying just ignore the praise from the press and just go out and play your normal game. See how things go, and if we manage to get some form of result out of this, it would be a bonus at the end of the day. And the first highlight was on 16.5 minutes. Devine with the throw-in out on the left-hand side. Nice 1-2 with Yeats. Looks to try and get a cross in. Struggles to go past Forson, and Charlton win the ball back, hoofing it forward, but only as far as Charles out on the right-hand side. So we come down the opposite side this time to Alabiosu. Again, nice 1-2. Alabiosu finds some space in the penalty area, gets it into the centre, and incredibly, on close to the 17th minute of the game, Fagan puts in the goal that sent our fans into absolute raptures. No one was expecting us to go ahead in this game, never mind this early on. Alabiosu with another assist for him this season into Fagan, who managed to find a little pocket of space. That Ramdeuter role seems to be suiting him well at times, and he managed to put it in to make it 1-0. But Charlton, straight from the kickoff, had a highlight. Morgan with the ball. Little 1-2 in central midfield, pushing it forward to Cameron. Out wide to the player that I can remember I could not pronounce in the previous game, into the centre. The first opportunity was lost. Chaplin finds the loose ball in the penalty area. Complete travesty of defending by our players. Ball comes down the left-hand side into the penalty area. Charles is easily done in that one. Fagan, I think it was for Fiorini, tries to clear the ball. Rubbish attempt at clearing the ball. And unfortunately, Charlton draw it level. Osho with the ball this time to Kirk, to Charles, back to Osho, back to Kirk. Could we manage to jump back ahead with Fiorini? Through to Yeats. Yeats was free in the penalty area. He's gone a little bit wide. Back to Taylor Crossdale. And at the back post for his 28th goal of the season. And he is still not the top goal scorer at the club. John Yeats, this time, has that, and will do at the end of the season. I mean, he's at least 10 goals ahead of him, so there's no way that Taylor Crossdale is going to be able to get ahead of that. But puts it in to make it Boreham 2, Charlton 1, which is absolute madness. And then just to cap off the selection of manners, Charlton yet again have another highlight from kickoff to Chaplin, who scored the first goal, and goes on a massive run into the penalty area. and is completely wiped out by Osho. Charlton have a penalty. 24.5 minutes. Chaplin puts away his second of the game. In a, I swear, 5-minute space of time, 4 goals are scored, and it makes it Charlton 2, Boreham Wood 2. So coming into half-time, I was very much in two minds. I was obviously delighted the fact we were still in a chance in this game. You know, taking a draw at half-time, I definitely would have done before the match. But the fact we've been ahead twice in this game and thrown it away, literally in the next minute, I was absolutely baffled by this. And on 72.5 minutes, we had a throw-in. Unfortunately, Charlton managed to clear the ball. Poor throw-in from Alabiosu. Morgan to Chaplin. Chaplin looks to come forward with the ball. Chaplin, the scorer of Charlton's first 2 goals, gets the ball back from Morgan. Tackled by Fiorini, but only as far as Forson out wide for Charlton. Charlton back to Gilby. Back to Scott. Starting to put a little bit more pressure on them, but they're still getting a lot of possession in our half, which I wasn't happy with. Cameron with 1-2 with Gilby. To Morgan. Osho manages to collect the ball though. Taylor Crossdale puts Yeats through. Yeats had the opportunity to put us ahead, tries to chip the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, he chipped the goal net as well, and we hoped the fact that wasn't going to be something an opportunity that we regretted him missing at the end of the match. 68, almost 79 minutes. We decided to make some substitutions. Fiorini pulled off for Adebayi to hopefully try and inject a little bit of energy into that central midfield. Fagan, who hadn't played very well and was on a booking, came off for James Daly, who came on and switched to that winger role, hopefully to provide us a little bit more width and a little bit more structure out on the wings. And on 87.5 minutes, Charlton had a throw-in, managed to collect the ball though, clear it with Devine. But Charlton's defenders managed to clear it and bring it back again. Morgan to Henry. Back to Morgan. Forward to Cameron, to Henry, Fisher. We're not putting a single tack in, very little pressure we're putting on Charlton at this point. Fisher manages to evade the tackle, but we managed to clear the ball again with Daly. But again, only as far as Scott for Charlton. We were not clearing the ball well enough at all in this game, if I'm honest. Anytime we collected the ball, we won the ball back, it was lost. And then into the centre, Huddart manages to make a save. Luckily, he manages to put out for a corner. And with only a couple of minutes left to play, manages to keep it 2-2. But Morgan with the corner for Charlton. Whipped into the centre. Cameron at the back post puts it over the top. And we managed to keep Charlton at bay. And so it entered extra time as neither team manages to find the winning goal. So I decided to pump the fist and say, the media have given you a lot of credit lately. Go out and give them a worthy display. And at this point, I thought I had completely screwed it. Probably one of the worst team talks I think I've given all season. My main worry going to the second half was Ben Tricker was nervous and on a 6.6, so I made a decision to take him off. Adebayi, would take the captaincy band for extra time, and Grant Thomas come on at centre back. So there are certain moments that define a lot of these matches, and just about halfway through the second half extra time, I made the decision to switch to positive mentality, and straight away there was a highlight. Charlton with the throw-in, forward to Forson. Forson coming down that left-hand side, inside of Charles, to Morgan, to Williams, to Henry. This was, I think, one of the first highlights, of extra time, and from range, Morgan with a goal that possibly break Boreham Wood hearts. As from range, he smashes it into the top corner. And at this point, I start to look back at some of the things I've done. The halftime team talk, the changing the back four, and finally the switching to a positive mentality. I went to very attacking and looked to try and make a change that could possibly try and draw this game back once more. Decided to do the last-ditch attempt and push everyone forward, switching the full-backs to wing-backs, pushing everyone forward to attack in one last desperate attempt to try and get yet another goal in this game. But sadly, it wasn't to be. That was full-time, and if I'm honest, I could do nothing but blame myself for that game. The players did play really well against a side that they've struggled with against this season. And all I could feel was it was my decisions, especially during extra time, that allowed Charlton that opportunity just to come in and take promotion from us. So frustrating. So So disappointingly, that meant the end of the season. It meant no promotion. However, I was so proud of the boys. I was so proud of the way they played. They were very unlucky, and unfortunately, their manager let them down. That meant it was season review time, and so we start with transfers. A couple of very key transfers, obviously at the top of that list. Alabiosu, who won signing of the season. Ryan Alabiosu is definitely the signing of, really one of the signings of the save, I feel, so far. 48 games played, 3 from the bench, 9 goals, 11 assists, a 7.09 average rating. That man absolutely ran the right-hand side this season, and is one of the key reasons, outside of John Yeats, one of the key reasons we did so well this season. Alex Osho, Shea Charles, Lewis Farini. Now, Charles was here all season. He was our right back for almost the entire season. Osho and Fiorini only came in during January, but still made an impact in the last dozen games of the season. And I really felt they helped stabilise that central midfield space along with Adebayo. So in terms of the season as a whole, for League One, we were expected to fight bravely against relegation. We finished in 4th in the end, which again, I reiterate, was a fantastic achievement by us this season. No one was expecting us to be anywhere near that, so a loss to Charlton in the playoff final is definitely not something to be sniffed at, and something the boys can be definitely proud of. However, the board for some reason only provided a C+, which is absolutely baffling, that we managed to reach the final of the playoffs after expecting to go down. I'm not sure what else, bar getting promoted, which I would expect to be an A+. I'm not sure what would have got me a B+ in that season. And in terms of the FA Cup, we're expected to reach the second round minimum. We actually reached the third round and unfortunately went out to Leicester City. But again, there is no shame in losing to a Premier League side in the third round of the FA Cup, especially only 1-0. But again, we only got a C+ for that, same as we did in League One. And finally, the Carabao Cup, a B-. So the board were definitely happy with this one. They asked us to be competitive. We managed to reach the 4th round, and again, no shame in losing to Leeds United, a Premier League side. However, losing 5-0 to Leeds United at home left a little bit of a sour taste, and unfortunately was a little bit more on the embarrassing side. In regards to the finances, no new sponsorship deals this year, but the money has been growing this season. Sponsorship money has gone up, broadcast revenue has gone up, corporate and hospitality has gone up. Competition prize money was the only one I was a little bit confused about. We dropped £45,000 of prize money this year, which being the fact we've reached the 4th round of the Carabao Cup and the 3rd round of the FA Cup. I think we went a fair way in the league trophy as well, and getting our highest ever league finish of a fourth position finish in League One. Meant I was very confused at why we managed less competition prize money this year than we did last year. But the matchday commercial and retail revenue was also up. That was born from the additional attendances we've seen this year. We set a new average attendance record this year, which definitely was a boost to the club finances. We sold 647 shirts in total for the season, with a few very popular names in there. Taylor Crossdale, John Yeats, Ricky Fagan, Adebayo and Alabiosu, 4 of which have been integral in terms of the squad the last 2 seasons. Adebayo dropping out a little bit in the second half of the season, with Fiorini coming in to take his spot in the central midfield. However, all 5 are definitely fan favourites. So in terms of the team of the season, Huddart in goal, a back four, Devine, Kirk, Tricker and Charles, Fiorini and Adebayo in central midfield, Fagan and Alabiosu were the wide men, and then Taylor Crossdale and Yeats up front. A side that, bar a little bit of rotation in central midfield, pretty much picked itself by the end of the season. And as I stated earlier, a total of 89 goals between our front 4 this season. Fagan, Crossdale, Yeats and Alabiosu, surely one of the most lethal striking outfits in League One. And finally, in terms of awards, Fans Player of the Season goes to Reece Devine, along with Young Player of the Season for his fantastic work at left back. Wins that award. Signing of the season, as we already know, is Alabiosu. Goal of the season was Jordan McNeef, who unfortunately dropped off of the radar once we switched to a 4-2-4. John Yeats, unsurprisingly, top goal scorer for the club and probably for the season as well and the league as a whole with 39 goals. Reece Devine with most assists with 14. Most player of the match awards goes to John Yeats. Highest average rating, Reece Devine. And most pass completed per 90 minutes remain Mundell. Again, another player unfortunately dropped off in the second half of the season. So 3 players were also inducted into the Boreham overall best ever 11. John Yeats, unsurprisingly. Ryan Alabiosu, again unsurprisingly. Maybe more surprisingly, Bryce Hosanna manages to make it into the Boreham best 11. So the overall best 11 is Huddart in goal, a back 4 of Devine, Tricker, Kirk and Charles. Adam O'Donnell and Romain of the central midfield. Alabiosu and Max Robson, the wide men. Taylor Crossdale and John Yeats, our current wonderful partnership up front, are also now partnering in the overall best 11. And then finally, some league awards. Reece Devine adds the Sky Bet League One Player of the Year to his tally of awards this season. Absolutely fantastic season from him, really underrated, overshadowed by some of the goal scorers in the squad, but 35 appearances, 13 assists, 4 Player of the Match awards and a 7.38. That man definitely has nailed down his space in the starting 11 for at least the next season. Unsurprisingly, John Yeats runs away with the Sky Bet League One Top Goal Scorer award with 33 goals for the season. A clear 6 goals ahead of second place. And then finally, in terms of the Sky Bet League One Player Select Team of the season, Charles and Yeats both managed to make it in the side. Bizarre the fact Devine doesn't make it into the best 11, being the fact he won all of our awards and also won the League One Player of the Year award. But maybe they didn't want to give him too much of an ego boost. So definitely a more strange episode than normal, but hopefully normal service will be resumed in the next episode as I review the summer transfers and we have the first game of the new season. But if you made it this far into the video, thank you very much. Please hit the like button down below if you're excited to see what transfers we can try and bring in this summer as we try and replicate the dizzy heights that we achieved this season. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my new uploads as and when they get released. Again, thank you very much for watching and I will see you in the next episode.